Good morning, heirs of God. Welcome back to another biblical reflection as we study the lives of Ruth and Naomi in the book of Ruth. So get your Bibles out to Ruth chapter 1, verse 19. As again, Ruth chapter 1, verse 19, and it reads, So the two of them, Ruth and Naomi, continued on their journey. When they came to Bethlehem, the entire town was excited by their arrival. Is it really Naomi? The women asked. We're going to talk about today. Do not announce your return home, especially if you're experiencing pain. Home can also be something that's familiar to you, like a job, a school, a neighborhood, or even a childhood home. Naomi is returning home to rebuild her life, as stated in Ruth chapter 1, verse 6. We'll discuss more of how Naomi and Ruth could have been feeling and experiencing mentally and emotionally at that time, but one can imagine that they were fragile, vulnerable, exposed, and they did not announce that they were coming home to the entire town. Because number one, your pain is not a public service announcement. Let me say that again. Your pain is not a public service announcement. Naomi did not send a messenger to inform the entire town. She did not send a letter. And in modern times, she didn't send a tweet, a thread, a Facebook post, or even a YouTube video. Your pain is not a PSA for your entire family to be aware of, not even your colleagues or even your organizations that you're part of, or even your sports clubs. Sometimes returning home could be part of God's plan. So, not announcing your arrival to return home eliminates the room for humans to insert their opinions that could possibly sway you from obeying God's will and ways, especially if the Lord is calling you to return home. Notice in the text, if you're using the New Living Translation like I am, Ruth chapter 1, verse 19 says, the two of them continued on their journey. This is Naomi and Ruth's journey. Nobody else in the town was experiencing their type of hardship and pain. So, how can they explain God's plan for them to return home? So, no matter what people may think about your return home, whether they see it as a failure, humiliation, a setback, or as beneath you, do as Naomi did. She trusted God to provide for her in an unexpected place, her home. So, what we learned today, do not announce your return home, especially if you're experiencing pain. Your pain is not a public service announcement, and returning home could be part of God's plan to provide for your life. And we don't need human opinions to sway us from not trusting in God's provision.